year I got a brand new desk. I made myself a promise I will not make a mess. So every afternoon before the school bell rings at 3, I work a bit to tidy up and make it orderly. Orderly, everything in place. Orderly, see my happy face. Orderly means organized. What a treat for
It's nice to be organized, right? Today, I decided to organize my desk, and I was thinking about how many things there are to organize, right? There's stuff, right? I have all the stuff that's on my desk that I have to put in different places, stuff in our lives. There's also our digital lives, right? We have computers, we have our phones, and then we have our personal lives, right? We have all sorts of things that we need to organize. So luckily for us, there's a great tool available in Google Drive. It's called Google Sheets, right? In today's assignment, we're going to explore Google Sheets in a Google Classroom assignment called Get Organized. So here we are in Google Classroom, right? I could see that I want to get into EBC Live, Technology and Design, right? It looks like I have a new assignment number 3, Google Sheets. So I'm going to click on that, right? I see the assignment is right here. Get Organized, Google Sheets. What is this about? So this is about making a spreadsheet, right? We have a 9-step assignment, so we should go ahead and check things off as we move along. We have a 9-step assignment where we're going to make a Google Sheet, right? So what is that? First thing I'm going to do is go to a new tab, right? I'm going to go into my Drive, right? And I can see down there's a thing called Sheets. It's this green square. I'm going to click on that. And like everything else we do in Google Drive, there's a plus button. I want to create a new sheet. We're not creating a doc, we're creating a sheet, and then this thing comes up, right? Looks like a graph or chart or some businessy looking thing, right? So I'm looking at this and I want to, I could see I could go up and I could move around the cells. There's a lot of different stuff I could do with this, and we're going to just use it for some very simple applications today, right? So if I go back to the assignment, right, I just opened up my Drive. I did Sheets, right? I could check that off. I want to give my document a title. So I'll go back to that. I see untitled spreadsheet. I'm going to call it David Sheet, maybe assignment 3. So that'll be easier for me to find. Everything saves automatically in the Drive, but sometimes it can be hard to find things, right? So I did that. I gave it a title, and I'm going to check that off by giving it a color, right? So going to the bottom left tab and double clicking on the sheet, we could change the name, right? So it gives you a little screenshot of that. So if I look down here, it just says Sheet 1, right? So I want to click that, and I'm going to change the name. I'm going to call it, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a tab with shortcuts, right? So this entire sheet is going to be dedicated to shortcuts. So I'm going to organize it. I want to have like what is, and we learned about shortcuts in the previous assignment in Google Docs, right? So I'm going to say, what is the shortcut, right? Shortcut. And then here we'll have the, what are we going to call it? The command, right? So, and maybe since I'm titling this, I just selected the whole row, and I could change the color of the row. That's kind of nice, right? So if we remember yesterday, we went over some shortcuts, right? We wanted to know how to copy, right? And the command for that is going to be Control plus C, right? So we remember that. Copy is Control plus C. Paste. we did yesterday, right, is going to be Control, and it was V, right? It would make sense if it was P, but it's not. It's V, right? So those are two shortcuts. Now I have this doc, right? And if I forget how to do something, I say, maybe I'll open my shortcuts doc while I'm working, and I could be organized in that way. So let's fill this out with at least 10 different shortcuts. And how am I going to figure that out, right? So there's two different ways. I could go to a new tab here, and I could say, just like you guys are working on, I'm working on a Mac, but you guys are working on Chromebooks, right? So shortcuts for Chromebook, right? And I see there's like a list of them that come up there. There's different sites, Chromebook key shortcuts. There's all sorts of different stuff, right? So that's one way. Or I could think of something I want to do, right? Like I think undoing something is a very great shortcut. So shortcut for Chromebooks, and I could see very quickly Control Z, right? So I'll include that, right? So undo, Control plus Z, right? So you get the idea, and you'll continue to fill this out. You'll do at least 10 shortcuts that hopefully will be useful to you as you continue to work, right? So let's go back to the assignment, and remember we could also take the assignment out and work on things simultaneously, where I could toggle back and forth. It's the way I really like to work, right? So I did that. I did the next two steps, right? So we did those. We gave it a title, and we will eventually, I'm assuming, let's pretend I looked up at least 8 different shortcuts. You guys will do that on your own. Next, start a tab a new tab by clicking the plus symbol. So what do I mean by that? I'll go back to this, and I'll see at the bottom, right, there's a add sheet, right? It's a new tab. Right now I have shortcuts, so I'll press that, and it looks like, oh no, my thing went away, right? But it didn't. It just created a new tab. This is sheet 2, and I still have shortcuts over there. So I could tab over to this, and I'm going to call this sheet passwords. Now, this I absolutely love, right? This is such a, so I'll put like item here and password. I go crazy because I have so many things with so many passwords, and some of the items some of the things I have, they require you to change the password, and I have a really hard time as life goes on keeping track of passwords. So I'm just going to go through and try to think of all of the things I have, right? I have Hulu, I have Amazon, right? I have a bank account with Chase, I have a EBC email, and I'll just go down the list, right? There's all sorts of things. I have a DOE email. I have a what else do I have? I have Netflix, and it just keeps on going and going and going. I have so many things, right, that require a password, and then I'll put the password over here to the side. Now, this is a doc you're going to share with me, so if you're not comfortable sharing passwords with me, I totally get that. You could just fill in the item and either leave this blank or 1, 2, 3 or whatever you want to put in there, so it's private. But what I would suggest is when you're done with this, right, you can go to File and make a copy, right? And this will copy the document, right? And I could give it a new title, like I could call it the David Sheet for Real assignment sheet number 3. And this one I would just not share with anyone. I would keep it secure, so I'm the only one that has access to it, right? So we continue, right? So we got one tab with shortcuts, one with passwords. Then we're going to create one more tab right? It didn't go away, right? We got shortcuts, passwords, we have sheet 3. We're going to title that one Schools. And I would do class, period, and Zoom, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go through, and again, I kind of like clicking over there and making this yellow. I could say I have geometry, first period, I could even put 10 a.m., right? And the Zoom ID. I'll double click on that or highlight it, highlight the whole thing. I do Command C, Control C in your case, right? And I'm going back to my thing. I have Control V, right? So I could even expand this so I could see it a little bit better, right? So I have geometry, first period, 10 a.m., and there's the Zoom ID, and I put in the rest of the schedule, right? So that's it. I mean, you'll fill this out. There should be like 8 to 10 shortcuts. You should have your passwords and the 3 classes and Zoom IDs that you're taking, and you're good, right? So I'm going to go back to the assignment, right? And I have the assignment open here, right? And at the very bottom, it asks like, how might you use Google Sheets, the sheet you created moving forward, and what are some other kinds of information you might use it for. So an example might be, I might look at like the classroom, and maybe I'll use it as a way to also track my grades, right? Or moving forward, maybe I want to use it for tracking things I do in a business or a shopping list or a budget, right? There's all these different applications you could use, right? So you fill that out. You could just write it right on the doc here. So just write it right here, right? And that will be automatically saved. And then I go to my assignment, and I want to attach my sheet. So I'm going to go add or create, go to my drive, and it should be one of the recent things I just did. So here's, I'm not going to send the for real one. I'm going to send the one without the passwords, right? That attached. I turn it in, right? And I'm good to go. That's E-level work. So that's it. It's the first steps of getting organized. Thanks for watching.
Mommy's eyes, I am going to really try to be orderly and